I want to help everybody who is interested in nature play, risky play, loose parts, adventure playgrounds, how to do it, how to take it to the next level, how to change the world. Together, we're not alone. Together, we can make change. That's the Nature Play Academy. Let's go far together, month by month.
Hi, this is Rusty Keeler, and you're listening to the Play Nature Podcast, where we talk about play, nature, playing in nature, and the nature of play. I'm glad you're here. Let's have a listen.
Hello, dear listener. Yeah, let's have a listen, shall we? I'm back at 6 Mile Creek. Or should I say, we're back at 6 Mile Creek. And it is full-on summertime here in Ithaca. And I have a nice little secluded spot. And the water's flowing. And you can listen. Yes, we have a listen. Can you hear? Yeah, if we start to get on earth speed a little bit, no matter where you're at. Maybe you're in nature. Maybe you're in a car. Maybe you're in a living room. Maybe you're in a jet airliner. Yeah, but we can all tune in and ground out and get on earth speed. And so as I'm sitting here, I see lots of water bugs on the surface of the water. It's very kind of smooth right where I'm sitting, and they are moving all around, and they're making little circles of rhythm as they move. They look almost like raindrops. Another moment of the season is that I have some allergies, so I got a kind of stuffed up nose, unfortunately. Not the best for podcasting. But the show must go on, right? I'll try not to sniffle or blow my nose too much. But I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be here in the summertime. And, it's warm, although it's starting to cool off. The evenings have been kind of cool. And this is one of those fun things in Ithaca, New York. Like when I have friends that have moved up from the south, I remind them, don't forget to bring your August coat. It might get cool out here in August. I know it's summer, but still it might get cool. So today's kind of a temperate day, which is nice. Anyway, I'm glad to be here with you. And I have some fun things that I'm going to share. And, I'm kind of doing a lot of, the last couple of years I've been kind of reflecting on like my work and my work in the world and with some of you. And yeah, I'm always kind of thinking about, well, what's next, or what's my next move? And, I think about, I've gotten to travel so many amazing places and teamed up with so many awesome people, just like you, who love outdoor play and connecting kids to nature and are supporting play and risky play and all the loose parts goodness. So I just feel so fortunate in that. And I'm so fortunate because I've seen so many amazing things that people are doing all over the world. Yeah, so it's like I've traveled for my work, but, like you, I'm a lifelong learner. I love this stuff. So I'm also like, over the years, I've been going on tours and, visiting adventure playgrounds in Berlin or Australia or Denmark, the United Kingdom. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So, I travel because I love this stuff, and I keep learning about it and taking pictures about it. And, as a book writer, I always thought, oh, that could go in a book. So I've seen so many amazing places that have inspired me so much, and I love sharing those. And So, I've also seen things that, like, quite frankly, blow my mind, right? And I can think, like, oh, I've seen it all. I've been doing this for, whatever, how many years. What's going to surprise me? I'm always like thinking about that. Early on, lots of things surprised me. And then, I started to get the feel for all the great stuff that y'all are doing out there. So there's so many great examples. But, I still have a million stories of, my mind getting blown. And here's one of them. Years and years ago, I got the awesome opportunity to work on a design in Minnesota with the Dodge Nature Preschool. Dodge Nature Preschool. Look it up. It's an awesome place. The center itself is amazing, designed by a visionary early childhood educator, director, I think professor. The building's amazing, their yard's amazing, but what is extra amazing is that it is on the grounds of a nature center, Dodge Nature Center Preschool. So I got to visit, and one day I just was trucking around with the kids, a class of preschoolers, and I kind of saw what they did, of course, in the yard, but then also like out and about in the nature center, and they had farm animals, so we had a wagon filled with rotted pumpkins. And so we're going to feed them to the pigs. So they throw them over to the pigs, and the pigs happily eat them up. And they know all the pigs by name. And then we keep wandering along, and there's a bog with a boardwalk, and no hand railings or anything. Just the kids, they've talked it all over. They know what the deal is. Nobody wants to fall into the bog. But there they are, and they're looking at frogs and looking at the plants and looking at the water bugs and the whole deal. So I'm just like in heaven. And then we come to the place they call Challenge Hill. If you're listening from Dodge Nature Center Preschool, you still challenging? Is there still challenge on the Challenge Hill? Well, anyway, I'm always somebody that is like all for kids taking risks, or just supporting children, or knowing they're capable and they can do amazing things, and maybe more than we give them credit for, and they can do it, and they can they're rough and tumble. But this one blew my mind, because in the woods, Challenge Hill, okay, I can't wait to see it. Suddenly it's like there was already a class up there, and it was like one of the steepest hills, and not quite a cliff, but somewhere between a very steep hill and a dirt cliff, with trees sprouting out all over. And the kids, in their mud suits and rain suits and rain boots, were attempting to scale up this super steep, muddy hill and having the time of their lives. There was a rope attached at the top going down, so you could like hold the rope and try to climb up, but lo and behold, kids are falling all over the place, and they're falling and sliding back down, and then they're trying to get some more, and they almost get there, and then they fall and they roll, and then they bump into someone else who's coming up and getting money in the process. And it was just like, for me back then, it was astounding. It was amazing. And it just expanded my thoughts and beliefs about what children are capable of. Yeah, and I've seen that a million times, all over the place. And I've taken pictures, I've taken video, I've written articles about things that I see, and it's interesting, again, reflecting on my own life. I'm at the point now where I just want to share it. I just want to share all this stuff, all the things I've seen, all the stories I've heard, all the amazing play spaces and play features and loose parts and settings and people saying yes. And I have all the pictures, I have all the video, I have all the stories, but it's on my hard drive. That's so good. It's just being stored, right? That's knowledge unshared. So I think about like me in this stage of life, and when I was younger, I thought, oh, I'm going to make a big difference because And I'm going to try to do as many playscapes, natural playscapes as I can. And I'm going to try to reach as many people, I'm going to try to do as many as possible all over the place. Okay, sure, and I did. And, whatever. There's a good number out there. But as my hair has gotten grayer and I've gotten a little bit wiser, I realized that for me, the biggest impact I can make is actually sharing everything that I know and that I've seen and that I've been inspired with you and all of you. Like, that's the biggest impact, is that the impact that you all make. So I'm kind of at the stage in my life now where I just want to share. And it's interesting because, all that stuff on the hard drive, I think previously maybe I thought, oh, that's lots of books. I probably have enough material for 20 books, which is fine and dandy. I've enjoyed the book processes that I've been in, my 3 books. But, writing a book is kind of lonely. You're kind of by yourself. And I'm imagining you reading my book and what you would think. But really, it is a solitary endeavor, which, okay, I admit, I like. When I'm out in the world and with friends and with, folks like you mixing it up in the world of play, I can be a little fun extrovert, but I'm also more introverted. I guess it's a balance. But I think about this, and the book writing is lonely, and what I long for in my life now is to share this stuff, but to do it in community. I want to share this with you, and I don't want it to be by myself. I want it to be something alive, and so that is why, drum roll please, I'm starting this fall a community of the most excited nature play nature people in the world who want to gather together and learn and grow together and talk this stuff over and ask questions and get more content and see more pictures and watch more videos and get help with your own yards and ask me questions. And I want to give advice. I want to share my experience. I want to share my experiences. So I'm starting this thing that I'm super excited about. I hope you might be a part of it, called the Nature Play Academy. Dun, dun, dun. Official. The Academy. And it's because I want to help raise everybody. I want to help everybody who is interested in nature play, risky play, loose parts, adventure playgrounds, play work, challenge hills, how to do it, how to take it to the next level, how to scale things up, how to change the world. Right? That's what we're here for. And it's interesting, since my last book came out, Adventures in Risky Play, What is Your Yes? I've been doing risky roundtables discussions with people all over. Early childhood educators and teachers and parents, grandparents, licensors and directors and the whole deal. I'll go to conferences and I do a keynote, which is, I love doing keynotes. I love preparing. I love thinking about how to really serve and be entertaining, but also inspiring and also like practical and, helping you feel like you can make change. Start small, dream big, start small. But then the Risky Roundtable, I've been following the keynotes with that. And that is when we sit in a circle, and I have a few prompts, and I listen. We all listen. We listen to each other and we hear like where people are at. What are their feelings about nature play or risky play? What are their successes? What are their challenges? Where do they sit? What's their relation to risk? What is your relation to risk? And I've heard amazing things. And since that book came out in 2020, I think, I hear a lot of the same subjects come up, a lot of the same concerns, a lot of the same frustrations of, how to support play. The play that we love, the play that we know is good for children, that is the natural way. So it's interesting. And there's people at these roundtables and listeners to this podcast who are at all different stages, I think, on the growth path of living their dream, of supporting the kind of play that they believe in. And so I've talked to new teachers just beginning, some new teachers who are just beginning and a little nervous and don't, how. I've heard about risky play, but how do I do it? What do I do? I've talked to new teachers and listened to new teachers who actually in their heart and in their spirit are very grounded in what they believe in about risky play and play in general, and how to support that play and what children are capable of. But as a new teacher, not feeling comfortable really to talk about it, or if their co-teachers are less approving or they don't share that philosophy, what that struggle feels like. I've talked to directors, I've talked to long-time educators, I've talked to forest school. I hear the issues with forest school practitioners. I've talked on this trip. I did this spring speaking tour and did the roundtables all the way. And I talked to amazing people, and including a director who said very clearly, when it was like, what's your relation to risk, that it's not children doing risky play. She's all about it. But of course, the big theme is that she's more afraid of the licensor, of licensing, of regulations, of lawsuits, of getting her program shut down. That's her fear with risky play. It's not the children climbing trees or jumping off things or using loose parts or sticks. It's the licensing. There's people who are talking about, okay, well, I think I get risky play. I see you in action. I see why, just saying yes to all kinds of play is so beneficial. But how do I communicate that? How do I talk to parents about that who are like, what? My child, you have my child climbing a tree? Or how do you talk to licensing? That's always a big thing. Or how do you improve your yard? Or how do you add nature if you have a rubberized surface and, metal monkey bars and that's all you got? I've heard teachers who are confident with risky play. When they're with their kids, they can see it in action. They support play. They're self-reflective. They see it working well. But then they're scared when the director comes out, and then how to talk to the director. I've listened and heard directors say the opposite of they are all for risky play, and then they get frustrated because they see their teachers who are too nervous to support kinds of play that they believe in. So for all those people, it can be lonely. If you're the director, be like, oh, am I the only person who believes this? Or the new teacher who's like, oh, I believe this in my heart, but the people around me don't. That can be lonely. We don't need to be lonely. You know why? Because there are tons of us who believe in this stuff, who know that children deserve play, and that play is the natural way that children grow and develop, and that nature is good, and mess is fine, and all that stuff, and that we can talk to licensing, and it's so that's what I felt like when I do these roundtables. It's like, so it could be a whole room full of people that feel alone, but suddenly they are in a circle, and they're feeling held in that circle, no matter where they're at. So I feel like those circles are that opportunity to be in community, in a place to meet, a place to be heard, a place to help others. People are sharing experiences. Long-time educators are sharing with new teachers. New teachers with new spirit and gusto are kind of, spreading that to teachers who have been doing it for a while. And the idea that we can come together and we can grow together. And that's what I love. And so for me, all those ideas swirling together with kind of me thinking about my next stage of life, my next stage of my career. I'm in this for the duration. There's not a retirement. Who would want to retire? I've got the best deal. I love it. I love it. I get to talk to you and travel all over and see people do amazing things and know that we're doing good for the earth and good for people and good for children. So swirling that all together, Nature Play Academy. Yeah. Yeah. So Nature Play Academy. I'm creating this community, and it's going to be a place that we can come together, and no matter where you're at on the growth path, right? So I've been thinking about the growth path as, listen to this, 5 stages. See where you're at. Seed, a sprout, a sapling, a tree, and a forest. And I think about these growth paths and the idea that like we can grow together no matter where you're at. So a seed, you might be that new teacher. You're just beginning. Or a seed might be a new parent or a grandparent wondering how to transform their backyard or say yes to more play. A seed could be somebody who has been doing traditional, metal and plastic playgrounds, but now they want to switch to the natural way, but they're new to it. Okay. So then a sprout. A sprout might be somebody who's, a little farther along. They're still a little shaky, but they know they have this feeling that nature play and saying yes to play and standing back and taking deep breaths and holding in your nose, not saying no, is good. But they could use a little help, a little support, a little help here. Okay, a sapling is the next stage. Seed, sprout, sapling. Sapling is like, okay, somebody who is on the path. They are doing it. You are working it. You are supporting play. You see it in action. You see the benefits. You love it. But, okay, you could use some tips. You might want to ask some questions to some people that have been doing it a little longer. And, you still have some concerns. Next stage is the tree. The tree, you're doing it. This could be the best practice stage. You're doing it. You've been doing it. You love risky play. You're doing risky play. Or maybe you're a forest school practitioner, or you're a center director, or you're a longtime educator. Maybe you're educator of adults or college students. You've been doing it, and now you're starting to pass it on, and you love this stuff. Maybe you've been doing it for 30 years, and this is your jam, and you're a lifelong learner, and you want to keep learning. Yeah, you want to keep taking it to the next level because this is the stuff you love. So yeah, give me more, says the tree. And then the forest. I see the forest as the 5th stage here, and that is, yes, the best practice, yes, going beyond. Maybe you are the trainer. Maybe you are the trainer of trainers. Maybe you are working with multiple programs to spread the word and preach the gospel. Maybe you're a professor and you're working to enlighten and steer the next generation. Maybe you want to spread and scale the whole play movement up and you want to start a nonprofit, or maybe you're working with parks departments, or city. Maybe you're part of a city and you want to change how city parks do things, or you want playworkers, in every park. Or maybe you work for the government and you know that you can work in that level, scale it up. So it's beautiful. So when I think about Nature Play Academy, everybody's welcome. Seed, sprout, sapling, tree, forest. And then forest goes all the way to seed again. Like when you're taking it to the next level, when you scale it up, that's a whole beginning. And I think about all this as beginner's mind. And the idea of we're growing. I want to grow together. That's this in my life. I want to help you grow. So, Nature Play Academy. what is it? Nature Play Academy. What is it? Okay, so it is going to be a monthly. It's going to be an online thing, online community. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll gather, in person. That'd be awesome. Do some tours. We can gather in Scotland, have the tour over there. But so Nature Play Academy is going to be a online community of all of us, and then there's going to be monthly gatherings, monthly. I call it like the deep dives, the live sessions on Zoom, and that will be a balance of a combo of me providing fresh content, pictures, stories, videos, ideas from all over the world, from people's centers, and topics that you want to explore. So I will have content, and then we'll have the circle, and we will have discussion, and we will have questions, and it will be the wisdom, the wisdom of the group, sharing and helping and learning and growing, debating, questioning. We'll also do What Would Rusty Say About My Yard? A little game show of sorts, where you can send pictures ahead of time. And that live session, I'll just look live and I'll tell you what I think about the yard or how to improve it or whatever your budget is. If you got a big yard or small yard, big budget, small budget, no budget, we'll look at it. And then we'll look at it as a group and we'll brainstorm. All that will be recorded, of course, so you can watch it at your leisure, depending on what your time zone is. There'll also be one-on-one opportunities to schedule with me and have some, we could talk about anything you want. Adding nature to your yard, supporting risky play, loose parts, maybe also your own personal growth in the play movement, or how to be a designer, or how I did it, or whatever. So there's one-on-one time with me. Then there's archives of tons of resources, of course, including maybe some of the most important things now, which are those talking points. You believe in play, you believe in risky play, you believe in connecting kids to nature, but wouldn't it be nice to have some talking points that you can pull out or think about when you're talking to parents about why this stuff's good for children? Talking points about how to explain this to fellow teachers. Talking points of how to approach your principal to lobby for more nature or a different kind of yard or having loose parts out in the public school. Talking points to talk to licensing, to show that you know what you're doing this thing mindfully. And also one of my favorite things, the Fun Film Archive. It's been a bunch of years, and with my email list, I send out Fun Film Fridays. So I'm collecting them all in one place. Inspirational little videos about all this stuff. So, yeah. What do you think? Sound interesting? I can tell you that I'm super excited. Yes, I've been cooking this up. Really, I've been thinking about this for 2 years, 3 years, and everything kind of coming in place. I was like, okay, I need a new website. Okay, I want to do a podcast. That's my next step. And then for me, this is like the final thing for me personally, kind of stepping into the future. It's like, all right, month by month, I want to form this community. I want us to come together, talk together, and grow together. And I want to help people. If they're seeds, go to the sprouts. If they're sprouts, go to the saplings. If they're saplings, get strong into the tree. If they're tree, to spread the word, scale it up, change the world. Right? Right. So, also, I'm thinking about this this is kind of like I want to work at this. I want this to be also like something that is, for me, like new work. Providing this monthly, facilitating these conversations, providing the content, getting it all together. So, if you are interested, the doors are opening. I'm launching it now. The doors are opening August 22nd, 2026. And we're going to kick off the first month together in September. Yeah. price, the low price, $20, $20 a month, 20 US dollars, or 200 a year. If you want to, you can save two months free for if you do the whole year, $200. But anyway, $20 a month, and we will have community, and we will share, and we will grow together. Because I'm not stopping on this journey. I still want to go on the tours out in the world. I'm still talking about this stuff. I still want to visit. I still want my mind blown. Yeah. And I want to share. And I want to share it with you. And I want to support you. And I want to support y'all wherever you're at, so that you can support the play that you believe in, that you know in your heart and in your bones is right for children. Yeah, and together we make a big difference. Together, we're not alone. Together, we can make change. Yeah. This African proverb that I recently heard that I love so much says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Yeah, I love it. And I feel like that's Nature Play Academy. Like, let's go far together, month by month. Also, besides all like the other stuff, every month you'll get like a playbook. Not a workbook, but a playbook that is a reflection on the content and the topics, and little things for you to try, or reflections or things that you can observe when you are supporting the play every month. So you get these little prompts for yourself to try things and to think about things in new ways as a follow-up to the monthly session. And so that we can really think about and support that play. And, it takes me full circle back to that Challenge Hill. And so there's the me in that story, and I think about me like a younger me, like wide-eyed, being like, my gosh, what am I seeing? These kids in their mud suits and tumbling down the hill, and some triumphantly making it all the way top, and adults at the top and the bottom, supporting and cheering it on and getting a kick out of the whole thing. And my eyes were wide. But now when I think about the children that were doing that, there was just laughter. There was just joy. There was just them knowing they can try to do this, and maybe they'll get to do it. And then they fall and they bump into each other, and that kind of rough and tumble of just bumping into each other and doing it together, and their own sense of belonging, their own sense of community. And then we all walk back to the Dodge Nature Preschool building, them in their muddy mud suits, me just smiling and, being wowed. And there was just like this feeling, everybody just had this feeling of satisfaction. And we know, when children get those opportunities to be kids, to do natural play, right? It doesn't have to be, wild, muddy hills, challenge hills, but just all the ways that we can say yes, and all the ways that you can support play, and it, wherever you're at in it. City parks, family childcare, your own grandkids. We know that it's worth it. And we know it's easier when we can get a little support. Little support here. Little help here. So that's it. I'm here to help. I'd love you to be a part of this. Yeah?
All right. Thanks for listening. Do you have a comment or a question? Email me at playnaturepodcast@gmail.com. I like talking about this stuff. And maybe we could use your question on a future podcast episode. As always, I have some free goodies for you in the show notes, including my outdoor loose parts guide. Fun stuff in there. And so I wish you the best in your outdoor play adventures. And when it comes to adding nature to your yard, or loose parts, or saying yes to risky play, my favorite motto is dream big, start small, and never stop. Oh yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Let's do it. All right. Have fun out there.